The Japanese language is 9,000 years old and is spoken by 125.4 million people. Learning Japanese is becoming increasingly popular. More and more people are choosing to learn this great and impressive language. Some want to watch anime without subtitles. Others want to acquire some language skills for their vacation. Some want to make Japanese friends and converse with them in Japanese. And some want to emigrate to Japan altogether and work there. There are many different reasons to learn Japanese, but the fact is, you are now one of them. In this video, I would like to show you how to proceed and introduce you to learning materials. Japanese is, of course, not like other languages in the world. It does not use Latin letters, but has three writing systems. Firstly, hiragana with 46 letters. Secondly, katakana, of which there are also 46. And thirdly, kanji, of which there are about 50,000. But don't worry, nobody knows all the kanji. An average Japanese person can read about 4,000 to 5,000 kanji. Let me briefly introduce you to the three writing systems in more detail. Hiragana is mainly used for conjunctions, particles, word and inflection endings, prefixes and suffixes, adverbs, and as a substitute for difficult kanji. It can also be used as a reading aid, furigana for kanji, by appearing in extremely small letters when written horizontally above a kanji. In contrast to hiragana, there are a variety of uses for katakana. In principle, however, the proportion of katakana in modern spelling is low. However, the largest areas of application are foreign words or place names, personal names, and proper names of foreign countries. The third writing system is kanji. These are Chinese characters with a different Japanese pronunciation. They pose the greatest challenge for most Japanese learners as they are difficult to write and usually have more than one pronunciation. It's therefore not surprising that many people ask themselves, if you can use hiragana as a substitute for difficult kanji, then you can actually write any kanji with hiragana, right? Theoretically, yes, but a text written exclusively in hiragana is extremely difficult to decipher, as the lack of word division in Japanese orthography means that such a text would be a single, barely decipherable sequence of sounds. So what's the best place to start if you want to learn Japanese? Quite simply, with hiragana and katakana. These are the two important building blocks for learning Japanese. Theoretically, you can learn Japanese without knowing a single character, but this is absolutely not recommended. I think most of you want to learn Japanese properly, and characters are simply part of that. And let's be honest, hiragana and katakana are really not difficult, and you can learn them within a few weeks. If you have now learned hiragana and katakana, you actually have everything you need to learn the language. The best way to learn the language is at a university or language course with professional teachers. This is the only way to learn Japanese in the best possible way. But this video is aimed at people who are learning on their own at home, so I'm going to show you how I go about learning Japanese. First of all, you should get some teaching materials. I use Mina no Nihongo. I highly recommend these books because each lesson consists of varied exercises. The Mina no Nihongo books always consist of two books, the main book and the book with the vocabulary and grammatical explanations. So before you start the lesson, you first learn the vocabulary relevant to the lesson in the grammar book, and then you get a grammatical introduction to the lesson. Once you have internalized these two things well, you can start the actual lesson in the main book. It all starts with a reading comprehension and a corresponding dialogue. Then there are exercises where you can apply the vocabulary and grammatical knowledge you have learned. Then you have dialogues that you have to complete on your own and listening comprehension tasks. At the end of each lesson, there is a small mini test where you are asked everything you know about the lesson. I find this concept quite successful and perfect for me. Very important before you buy this book. Now, the main book is completely in Japanese, which means you should know at least hiragana and katakana. Kanji are not necessary as there are always furigana above the kanji. The translations of the dialogues can also be found in the grammar book. The grammar book is available in many different languages, so there should be something for everyone. In total, there are about 4 books by Mina no Nihongo, and all books prepare you optimally for the Japanese language proficiency test. The first book prepares you for the JLPT-N5, the second book for the JLPT-N4, the third book for the JLPT-N3, and the last book for the JLPT-N2 and N1. There is another book series that is apparently also very popular, namely Genki. I personally can't say anything about it as I've never really got into the book series, but I've only heard good things about it so far. Now we come to the point that many people who are learning Japanese are probably put off by, namely learning the kanji. And here there are two possibilities. Either you learn kanji while you learn the language, or you focus on the language first and then on kanji. This is completely up to you depending on how well and how much you like to learn and how much time you want to invest in learning Japanese. So you have to master a total of 2,000 kanji to pass the JLPT N1, and I'm going to introduce you to two methods of learning kanji effectively. The first and probably the most common method, namely learning by heart. That means you treat kanji as if they were words. For this, I recommend this book here. Here you have all the 2,000 kanji you need. The book is in German, but it doesn't matter because we just need the kanji lists anyway. The second method of learning kanji is the Heisig method, which means you remember kanji about small stories. I have heard that this method is supposed to be very effective, but this method usually takes longer because you only learn the meanings of the kanji and only later the pronunciation. So for me, this method is not an option, but maybe there is someone among you with exactly this type of learning. Feel free to write in the comments what method you use. Now, these are the basic things you need to learn Japanese, but I want to show you how to incorporate Japanese into your everyday life. For example, I watch almost only Japanese TV, and I recommend that because you come into contact with the Japanese language every day. To watch real Japanese TV, however, you need a VPN. The same applies to Japanese radio, but I'm going to make a video soon. But what you can do is watch animes. Animes can also help you get used to the Japanese language. Another point is language exchange with native speakers. This also helped me a lot because you can use the words you have learned in practice. Otherwise, there is one more thing that probably only comes for the least question, namely to travel to Japan. This is the best way to deepen your knowledge of Japanese because you are forced to speak Japanese, especially when traveling in rural Japan. I hope I was able to give you a basic overview of learning Japanese. Please write me in the comments if you are already learning Japanese and if you're doing well. If there are any questions, you can also ask me in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel if you are interested in Japan. This channel regularly publishes videos about Japanese language and culture. I'll be in Osaka soon, so you can look forward to great vlogs. Otherwise, I would like to thank you for watching and would be happy if you were back in the next video. See you next time. 視聴してくださってありがとうございます。